talk about people understanding their cause, but just wishing they didn't boycott the game.
Yeah.
I know yourself and a lot of former players as well saying that. John Herdman, has said that. So I wonder how much of a relief this also just has to be for the players to get this kind of victory too.
It was important, wasn't it? I think it was important for everybody to finish this whole camp on a high and on a positive and get out of town. They really need to do that. They did it professionally. I think the only criticism was need to be a little bit more ruthless in front of net, because chances are going to be few and far between when they get to the World Cup level. The actual profile of this team, Curacao, wasn't exactly the one they would like to have had ideally, KJ.
No, I agree with you.
We're not going to. This isn't the type of team they're going to face in the World Cup. Nothing like it.
No, exactly. And as you see these scenes now, you have to talk about ultimately the build-up. Right, we see it there, 17,200. I think people would have liked to have seen a packed stadium, right? But I certainly can't criticise that number after all what Vancouver's been through over the last couple of weeks. Suddenly they've got a game of 50,000, then you're refunded, then you got another game. Oh no, that game's off. By the way, this game was part of a package of 2 games, and then that's taken off. So at the end, ideally, I think they would have had a lot more. But as we look at these scenes right now, it's important to note this is the final game this team's going to play in Canada before they go to a World Cup, right? So, yeah. So it's like that's a pretty special moment for them to enjoy that. They took it out west. The 17,000 people that went there will certainly not forget the moment they got to watch this team before they go to a World Cup. For whatever reason, travel, COVID, quick schedules, they weren't able to have that moment. Vancouver weren't able to have that moment during World Cup qualifying. So the people who were there have had that moment, and this is what this country is about. It's about taking it from coast to coast. So in the end, I think it certainly served its purpose, and it was a good win.
Yeah, and June 16th, we know is going to be a big date because that's when FIFA is going to announce how many games are going to be in certain locations for the 2026 World Cup. And, for Vancouver, getting to showcase this game, getting to show what they can do as well, very important for them as they look ahead.
Protesters on the post, that'll be fine.
Hey, how about some extra minutes at the end of that game there, ref?
3 minutes. What are we talking about?
I know. Anyways, I was wondering if that was Ollie there. I didn't know what maybe he was kind of going and chinning himself against the post there.
I guarantee the security will be a lot tighter than that in 2026. Just going to say.
Yeah, well, They got him off there pretty quickly.
They did.
Faster than Everton.
Yes.
Yeah, they really did. Let's take a look at some of these goals. So another big story heading in, of course, was Alphonso Davies. First time we're seeing him in 2022. Nice to see him on home soil as well. And he gets the penalty here. He takes the penalty as well. And KJ, if you read lips, I mean, there was no way he was going to let anyone else take this.
No, he demanded the ball, just like he demanded the ball when he was playing. Ultimately, he wins the ball there and then goes one-on-one with the player. Left side or right side, him and Buchanan were a handful. Gary, the defender, I don't think he does too much wrong, to be honest. He just checks his body up. Davies runs into him, puts his hand out. It's given obstruction and a penalty. I wouldn't have given a penalty, as I said at half-time. I like the referee, but as you alluded to, he demanded the ball, wanted to take it. It's hard to say to the all-time goal-scoring record holder in the men's game, Kyle Laryea, I need to take that ball off you and deny you of a goal, Craig. But this is what Fonzie does these days. You think, it's his team.
Yeah, I was thinking that because they've obviously made the decision before the game that, Laryea was going to be the penalty taker because that's exactly, he went straight to Laryea.
Yeah.
You could read his lips.
Yeah.
I'm at home.
Yeah.
Let me take this. Dude, something like that, bro.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? And it was a well-taken penalty and good for him as well. And that confidence, you can't take that away from him. I don't think John Herdman or the coaching staff will mind that at all.
He deserves his goal, though, right? After missing all those games, right? He's been waiting for those games. He's been watching, games on Twitch in the middle of the night in Europe. At least he can have his
we've been watching
goal. Yeah, exactly.
We've been watching him. He's had his dad by his side, enjoying the games. But 2 for 2 as well, because remember, he scored that penalty kick in World Cup qualifying against Cayman Islands, where the Canadians walked away with the 11-0 victory. Steven Vittoria gets his 3rd goal in a Canadian shirt. And this is off a corner. Alphonso Davies taking this one. But this was goalkeeper error.
Yeah, it was. Actually, KJ made a good point that the few of those ones delivered by Davies weren't the best. He finally got one right that the goalkeeper should have caught that. It was coming into a nice height. It wasn't a player in front of him. He just panicked and obviously not all that secure and confident with his handling and ends up punching it down and made an almighty mess of it, to be honest with you.
No mess.
Yeah.
Yeah, second ball, so again, right, really important, the second ball. So, you know, the goalkeeper makes a mistake, but who's there right away, recognize it? Jonathan David, another assist by him, fires it in, and Vittoria gets his goal. We were joking, actually, Vittoria looked like he wanted to play striker for the majority of that first half. He kept running up in the box, and you could see he had that big grin on his face because he got the goal. He deserves it, to be fair. The last image I saw of him in a football field was when his team got relegated, and he was crying with the fans. So, you know, he's an emotional guy, a wonderful man, so it was nice to see him smile on the pitch.
You know, when you can spend that much time in the opposition box as a centre back, that you have enough pace behind you to know, don't worry, we're fine.
Exactly. They're going to cover you,
Although I think John probably would have liked to make a move back a little earlier.
Exactly.
Well, a little bit. He's going to be keeping an eye on that center back position again, right? There's a lot of players here that Herdman wants to see what type of shape they're going to be in, form they're going to be in, especially with, you know, Vittoria being out of contract. We do know this. Curious to see what's going to happen with Daniil Henry in those particular positions. Oh, and what about Richie Laryea, who hasn't been getting playing time with Nottingham Forest, but played a role in this third goal for the Canadians as we head into the second half right now. This was right after the protests, and the Canadians don't waste any time.
Yeah, the protesters actually stopped the rhythm of the play because Curacao did all right up to that moment, and 30 seconds later the ball's in the back of the net and it's 3-0, right? So, you know, in the end, again, it's quite a typical goal I think you'd see from World Cup qualifying. It's transition, they win the ball back very quickly, they attack in wide areas, they create the overlaps, and then Laryea gets involved. It's very similar to a goal they scored at BMO Field actually against El Salvador. So, you know, every credit you can see Davis pointing to Laryea, but this is what Laryea does. You know, it doesn't matter if he's a starts or he's a finisher. He's obviously a contributor.
And you can see where, you know, Fonzie sees him and just knows, like, he's running toward goal, Fonzie, and he just knows what Richie's capable of and what he's going to do. Plays a beautiful pass into him. It was really something, a thing of beauty. Yeah, Richie's an interesting story, isn't he? Like, Nottingham Forest, that whole promotion to the Premier League is wonderful, and they go in the Premier League, but he wasn't starting for Nottingham Forest, and the reason being, they were on this incredible run when he got there, and they didn't want to change the team, as you don't. So playing time is going to be very important for him before the World Cup, and this World Cup comes at a very interesting time. So what does he do? He's going to have some conversations with John, his manager with Nottingham Forest. Yeah. What are they going to do? But he has to be playing games if he's going to get in the starting position, I believe, with Canada.
Yeah, it's a great point. You know, I would hope Forest, being the club that they are, they would know that what their plan is for him better than any of us would. For me, though, when he didn't get in the squad at all for the championship final, Spence had a terrific year. The team now will want to survive and sustain their Premier League survival. This is a big club. It's not a yo-yo club. They'll have ability to stay in. I have a hard time believing right now Richie Laryea will be part of their grand plans of 15, 16 players are going to play every week.
Yeah, they're not getting worse.
No, they're not getting worse. If he couldn't play a lot of minutes there, I would hope that they would say, you know, Richie Laryea is the kind of player that needs to get regular minutes, and let's loan him to a championship club where he can play every game. And Craig knows this. The Championship is a wonderful league. 46 games, play every week, Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Monday, whatever. 2 games a week. The fitness level, he'd be flying coming into the World Cup. Other than that, if he sits on the bench and plays the occasional League Cup game, he's not going to be at the rhythm.
The only good thing, I think, when they came in that last window with the national team, he hadn't played for some time. And I was concerned, is he that type of player that needs to be, you know, playing all the time? I think he proved that he doesn't have to be.
No.
He keeps himself in good nick, and he seems to fit in right away. So he's got that on his side, but he still has to play games. And John wants guys to be playing games.
It's a good point. I never worried about that because of the environment that they were in. What I loved about him placing him there is that Forest were one of the most successful clubs in English football at that time, winning every week consistently in that competitive environment every day in training. Yeah. You could see he came into that camp flying, right? He wasn't playing for a club in the doldrums or losing every week. He's
a guy that's used to in his career scrapping for things and fighting for every little inch. So it's not something he's going to give up easily. He wants to be part of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he also says, you know, I want to give it a go.
Yeah,
but at the same time, the managers are going to be honest with him as well. You need to get games. You need to, you know, you're not in our plans for the, you know, near future. Maybe you will be after you get a loan spell. It's
a great point. He's invested everything. He's moved his whole family, kids, wife, everything to Nottingham. Like, it wasn't like, I'll go over, give it a try, see if he's there. He's there for now. He's not looking to come back to MLS because it's not gone wrong and suddenly parachute's coming out and let's have an easy soft landing. It's like, let's keep fighting for this. And if Nottingham Forest have gone a little bit ahead of his development, I just think they can still take care of him. And this is what loans are for. Take care of him, find him the minutes to play. And, you know, a championship club can can take him, and then let's see him go.
Yeah, not that easy anyways to come back to MLS, that's for sure. And the environment, you're right, they're winning. There's a winning mentality there. There's got to be a winning feeling when you're in the environment. But I also find when you're an older player, the practicing is nice, but you want to play. And this is somebody who's used to playing. And we're also talking about a player who's going to be on a World Cup squad and would love to get those minutes so he can be in the starting 11 as well. Let's look at the 4-0 goal, the final goal here. Lucas Cavallini comes on as a substitute, and he ends up getting the goal. What did you make of this one, Craig?
Well, first of all, I thought this pass in here, the goalkeeper is a little slow on his near post. If he had his footing right and he would have read that properly, he could have come and closed this down. It's pushed a little bit too far ahead. The goalkeeper's got to come. He doesn't, and that leaves himself exposed. Cavallini recognizes that, but the pass was perfect into his space, and it's great for him to get a goal because, you know, we talk about, you know, guys on the cusp and what he's dealing with and the competition for spots in his spot. It doesn't get much harder than that in Canadian history, and he's trying to get in there. So there's some big questions to be asked. He needs to play well for Vancouver Whitecaps, and that's not going to hurt his cause at all.
Thankfully, he's playing the best football of his Whitecaps tenure, right? He's in good form at the moment. You could hear the crowd were really pleased when he scored. You could see Herdman and the bench, they were happy for Cavallini. I think those are all factors because he is a likeable character. He's not somebody, even when he gets down, that the rest of the squad gets down with him. He's a big part of this club. He's been with this team for a long time. And I think he's a shoo-in, guys. I think he's a definite member of the World Cup squad.
Member, yeah.
Yeah, I do. I definitely think there's no doubt in my mind for all of those reasons and more that is said. The other thing I would say about Cavallini is that sometimes with strikers in particular, and this is Ike Igbo a little bit, we haven't seen that for Canada, they take a long time to get in when you put them on, to settle in. Cavallini gets in right away. You know, sometimes he'll get a booking, but sometimes he's right in there.
Before he touches the ball.
Exactly. You know what I mean? He doesn't take a long time to get into the game. He's in and he's ready. 5 minutes, 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. And that's what you need, you know, as a finisher or a substitute to come on.
Yeah.
You can't have them bedding in time. You got to come on and carry on.
Right. Well, I mean, John calls them, and most managers call them the impact players, you know, not substitutions. These are impact players. So you need to have an impact very quickly, and you can't be waiting for 12, 15 minutes before you can do that. So that he fits Seville in that category for sure.
Comes on in like a wrecking ball. Perhaps that should be his theme song there from Miley Cyrus. I'm sure he would appreciate me saying that, that's for sure. Let's get to the all-state save of the match. It wasn't a busy night for Milan Borjan, so we're going the other way. This was in the 40th minute. Eloy Rome for Curacao making the save here off Tajon Buchanan, and he was busy here tonight. And in particular, Tajon Buchanan, I know we're talking about the save of the game, but Tajon Buchanan himself, and I know we've shared this story already, but, you know, starts 2021 with the under-23 squad and trying to qualify Canada for the Olympics, and then just a few months later finds himself with the senior squad and doesn't look back. And then, oh, by the way, signs a deal to go to Europe from MLS. I mean, what has just impressed you so much with his meteoric rise?
Oh, wow. I mean, I've never watched so much football from Belgium in my life as I've watched with him. And he since the moment he got his first appearance as a substitute, he has been dangerous and unbelievably effective with that side as well. So, again, winning mentality, coming from a winning team, confidence. He played well at New England as well, I thought, last year too, and that built his confidence up. And he's got a swagger about him. He's a player that's a handful in there. Yeah,
such a soft-spoken, shy person off the pitch, but almost has a football arrogance about him that when he comes one-on-one, he's like, "I'm going to beat you either way," you know. And he's got that attacking thrust. He's at the peak of his game right now, and it's only going to get more and more. And I think against these clubs, particularly the teams that are going to play in the World Cup, you know, those quick transitional moments where you can hit them on the pace a little bit and ping that ball over. I think we're going to see Buchanan, much like David, start playing further forward even more so than he has been over the last few games.
He has the energy. He has the speed. This is somebody who can definitely do it. And what's great and what we saw here tonight was Davies and Buchanan switching sides as well. Just the luxury John Herdman has in being able to do that with those two players. A 4-0 victory here for Canada over Curacao. When we come back, we'll take you inside BC Place and hear from some of the players, get their reaction on the victory in Concacaf Nations League here on OneSoccer.
A lot has changed since you got your last perfect vehicle. You met someone. You got a dog. Your best friend met someone too. You got new interests. A new hobby. You felt a little more adventurous. You found a bigger hobby. You explored a little more. You needed a vehicle that reflected the new you. You found it. The all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. Your new perfect.
Welcome to Allstate. The more you save with Allstate. Click or call for a quote today.
A new era for Canadian soccer begins today. Experience the emotion of every match. Watch all the highlights, the breaking news, the best debates, and analysis. And all the information about the Canadian stars playing abroad. Get access to the best of Canadian soccer from any device. Join the new dawn of an unstoppable game. See the rise on OneSoccer.ca.
For life's transitions, working from home, and even small businesses, life gets better when you have space. With no long-term contracts or leases, get the size you need. First 4 weeks free. Access Storage. Proud partner of Canada Soccer's men's national team.
Joe Mason with a chance, and there it is for Joe Mason. Garcia the run up, and the goal from Akeem Garcia.
Alphonso Davies sticking around. There he is, signing autographs for all the fans, taking pictures, making sure the fans are leaving happy. Again, this is the first time they're seeing him in the year 2022. This is the first time we're seeing him back at home as well in a very long time, having played in Vancouver, as we know, in Major League Soccer. So it's great that he's taking the time. I feel like he's going to sign every single shirt.
Yeah, you know what? He's going to sign every single.
We have to stay on the air until he's done.
He's been doing it for 5 minutes non-stop.
Oh,
by
it's
the way.
just been
it's fantastic. We're seeing it. No, it's tremendous though. No, every chat, he's getting selfies and pictures. It's brilliant to watch.
The lights are going to go out, and he's going to just be there with some glow sticks, signing some stuff for the fans. Absolutely awesome.
He's our biggest superstar, man. In Canadian sports, he's our biggest world superstar. No question about it.
Full-time Stats brought to you by Toyota. Curacao trying to close the gap just a little bit there when it comes to possession, but still really no shots on target. 4-0 the final for Canada. Here's Alistair Johnston.
Alistair, at the end of a very challenging week, was that the perfect ending?
Yeah, it was a difficult week, but it's one of those ones that we looked at it and said no excuses. We're going to go out there. We want to put on a show for our fans. I know how difficult it's been for us, but I can only imagine it's been more difficult for them. Obviously, it was something that we didn't want to have to do, canceling 2 games. Myself as a fan, I know how frustrating that would be. So, we really want to go out there and give these fans that came out a show, and I think that we did that. And yeah, we looked at it like this. It's a difficult situation, but we're not going to make any excuses. So we want to come out, not come out flat, come out all guns a-blazing, and I think we showed that.
We saw it against Jamaica in March, and I think something similar again tonight. Do you expect now to be dominant in these types of matches?
Yeah, I think if we want to take that next step and really become, a Concacaf top dog in this region, you really have to come up and show up, especially at home. You need to really take it to teams like this. And it doesn't really matter who the opposition is now. We really want to make this a fortress at home, no matter where we play across Canada. We want to come out and be on the front foot right from the get-go, and that's what we did tonight.
As a fullback, you were able to get forward a lot, same with Sam as well. How fun is it to play with those 4 guys in front of you?
As a fullback, they draw so much attention to the talented players in front of us that as a fullback for myself and Sam, we just come a little later to the party, and often you're unmarked, tons of free space to walk into when they're so worried about guys like Tejan, Johnny, and Fonzie, for example. So yeah, it's a dream as a fullback to play in this kind of team, and also you got to do your defensive work, but the amount of work that our forwards do and the leadership that we have at the back, it's really not that difficult. The game is pretty simple. They make it really easy for us, and we just go out there and try and stick to the game plan and enjoy it.
It's obviously been a unique set of circumstances the last few days. How have you just kind of handled it personally?
It was one of those ones where it took a lot out of us mentally. It drained us, but at the same time, we're soccer players. Our job isn't that difficult. We get to go out there and do what we love, and that's something pretty special, especially when you get the chance to represent your country. So I knew this group. I know the characters in this group. As soon as we had the opportunity to pull back on this jersey, we were going to be super excited for it. And yeah, we want to give this crowd a show. They deserved it for what we put them through. So, it was a good night.
Thanks, Alistair. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Happiness courtesy of the men here tonight. The women will try to do the same thing this July. Massive tournament ahead for them. Concacaf W Championship. This acts as a qualifier for the World Cup, the inaugural Gold Cup, as well as the Olympics. Canadians kick things off Tuesday, July 5th against Trinidad and Tobago. They also take on Panama and Costa Rica in group stage action. You can catch all of it right here on OneSoccer. I'm telling you, till the lights go out, boys, Alphonso Davies is going to sign every single scarf, kit, poster. He's going to take photos here. Great that the fans and the players showing love for one another. We'll be hearing from head coach John Herdman next here on Matchday Live.
Sports can bring us together or tear us apart. But you know what never disappoints?
Shawarma? We're making what you're craving, Osmos. All come together.
We call it the beautiful game, where artistry leaves you in awe, mixed with emotion that grips the soul. We are witness to beautiful goals, where unbelievable cannot begin to describe what we just saw. It is where pride comes to life on the pitch. Respect has been earned. This is where one game is found on OneSoccer.
There is something quite magical about heading into a new destination. A journey into the unknown. Not alone, but together, as a country, as a sport, ready to soar. We are Canada, and this is our sport. This is our time.
A new era for Canadian soccer begins today. Experience the emotion of every match. Watch all the highlights, the breaking news, the best debates, and analysis, and all the information about the Canadian stars playing abroad. Get access to the best of Canadian soccer from any device. Join the new dawn of an unstoppable game. See the rise on OneSoccer.ca.
Men will be back in action on Monday. One more game in this window. It's still in Concacaf Nations League action. They'll be taking on Honduras. That's 9:30 p.m. ET. We will get you set up right here on OneSoccer. Let's hear now from head coach John Herdman.
John, 4 goals, a clean sheet. Was it nice just to be able to watch your players play football again?
Yeah, I mean, great to be back on the pitch. I think the boys, the last couple of days, there's been a real focus, and they started well tonight. And I thought they were relentless at a period just after half-time where we never really got hold of the game. But the subs coming in, you know, we've got a lot on the bench, and I thought they made a big difference.
At their best, that front four and even the players supporting them as well is a handful and hard to deal with. How much do you enjoy watching that?
Yeah, I mean, we're building, you know, a clear identity with that group, and that's what we've been working on this week. I mean, with the pace, we're just encouraging them to get the ball out wide as quickly as we can. There's a bit more intricacy around how you do that, just to create, you know, that space for people like Davies and Tejan, and when they're starting to draw defenders, then you get people like Adekube arriving late. So, you know, I think we've got a lot of weapons, but we've still got a long way to go, Ollie. I mean, tonight I wasn't happy with some elements of that performance. I thought we just lost control for a 10-15 minute period in Qatar. You know, you'll get punished off better teams. So, you know, we'll go back and have a look at that and just see where we need to clean up for Honduras.
You've just spent a lot of time here signing autographs and spending time with the fans. Did you feel the support from Vancouver tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we knew this was going to be a tricky game. I mean, what we heard with the ticket sales even 2 weeks ago, that the Thursday night game was going to be slow. It's disappointing that it's going to be slow, but I think, like I say, we might add a few more out. Some people still a bit upset from the weekend, but you know, that's gone. The fans here got 4 goals. I told the boys just make sure those fans get something to celebrate tonight. And I thought they put a hell of an effort in, and that's all I ask of them.
How do you think you will reflect on this week as a whole when you look back on it?
Just wisdom doesn't grow on your good days, you know. Everything's we're learning all the time. There's moments that are going to come in your life and in football, and yeah, I mean, for the boys here, I think they took a stand, and I respect them. I respect them with everything. We've taught them how to stand together and fight together, and you know, they did that this week. And you know, on the other side, I think, you know, Canada Soccer have started to really work hard behind the scenes to bring it closer together, and we're getting closer, which, you know, it's feeling better. And hopefully tonight, you know, people can forget about what happened and hopefully step forward. And again, just thank these fans. They've all turned up tonight, and they've been great, and they got their 4 goals. They got to see Davies play. I mean, what a treat.
Just lastly, seeing Alfonso back in a Canada jersey, it's been a long time. That must have been nice.
I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, to think we went half of that World Cup qualifying campaign without him, I mean, that's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. He was desperate to get back and score this week. I mean, the attitude, the energy, he's just so infectious. Just love coaching him, love working with him. And I was with him for a good half an hour last night, setting him up for this game, and yeah, he's just a gift. I mean, I'm privileged to work with a player of that quality, but more just he just loves the game, and this is his hometown. I mean, he's still out here signing autographs. Just a great human being.
Thank you, John. Well done tonight.
Nice to you.
He really is still signing autographs. We weren't kidding about the lights going down. So really special, the players, as well as John Herdman, as we saw, they're taking a lot of time to sign autographs. Their way of thanking the fans, Herdman acknowledging it as well, just how tough it was, wanting to give back. Obviously, some fans still upset about Sunday's game. How tough is this as well? How tricky are these waters for John Herdman, who's trying to keep, you know, the team together, trying to keep a relationship together with the federation, and preparing for a World Cup where he knows things are going to just be dramatically different?
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, there you have that. What he has to do first and foremost, he can never get in the players' way. He can never go against the players. He can talk to them about the situations, but he's always got to back them, or you lose the dressing room. So he has to take himself back a little bit, support, maybe influence a little bit in some ways, but he has to take that step backwards. But one thing with John Herdman, I mean, you know, it's the association. I think really the only difference I think over the years from the association part is John Herdman. You know, since he arrived in Canada, like our women's program, and for him to adjust, that just never happens, and the pressure to adjust to the men's game. We knew him well enough that we knew tactically. Yeah. And also as a person, he's a people person, so he knows how to deal with that. Doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man. So it never worried me that way. He just needed to sell it to the players. Those are the only ones he needed to do it.
Absolutely.
But he did it brilliantly well. Even though the night before that first appearance, he said he was in the fetal position.
Yeah.
Shows you, eh?
Yeah, it does.
How much pressure was on him.
And you bang on. It's, you know, it didn't matter what anybody else thought. It was just about the players, right? And when we bring that full circle now, and you talk about what's happened in the last week, he's not directly responsible for what's happened, but he has played a part in that, not necessarily in a deliberate way. But if you're empowering that group to go out there and show you something on the pitch and change history, other consequences are going to come from that. It's not, it has to align together. It's not by accident that this is happening. They're changing the direction of everything on the pitch, and then the mindset is the same off it as well. That's just exactly the way things have happened, and that's where they've developed.
So how did he handle the situation? He would have taken all the positives out of the situation and focused on them.
And that's what you need to do, and his team gets the victory here. Alfonso Davies back in that Canadian kit. He caught up with our Oliver Platt.
Alfonso, it's been a tough week, but how nice was it to pull on a Canada jersey again tonight?
Yeah, it feels good. You know, I had an injury with my heart the other months, but I'm happy to be back on the pitch, you know, especially in front of the Vancouver people. So I'm happy to be back with the team, and I'm happy that we're able to get the 3 points today.
You're spending a lot of time with the fans signing autographs right now. Did you feel the support from being back in Vancouver?
Yeah, definitely. You know, these guys, they came out, took a time out of the busy day to come watch us play. And the best we can do is, you know, come out here and support them, and come out here and, you know, sign some stuff for them. They came out here to support us, so I'm happy about that.
It's been a difficult week for a number of reasons. How has it been for you personally?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, yeah, for me, training has been good. You know, everything's been, you know, smooth. But yeah, we're just happy to be back on the pitch, and we're looking forward to the Honduras game.
Thank you, Alfonso. I appreciate it.
Gets the brace here tonight, scores on a penalty kick, and then gets another goal in that second half. So they move on to Honduras. Now that's the other team they're going to play, a team that they also played during Concacaf World Cup qualifying. So they know what to expect from this team. What would you like to see them do, KJ, if you were just kind of, again, looking at this team with World Cup preparation in mind?
Well, I think that the fact that they go away from home, playing in a difficult environment, no matter what you say, Honduras is still a difficult environment. I think they've won 1 in 17. They're a disaster on the pitch, but you go out there with more swagger, and again, it's just foot down on the pedal, keep going. There might be a bit of rotation, Craig, but at the end of the day, they fully now expect this nation to go out there and win these games.
Yeah, because it becomes a habit. It becomes, you know, winning does that, losing can do the same thing. So you just want to keep that momentum going, and that's what they'll be trying to do. And like you say, I've never seen a Honduras association group of players this bad in my time in international football. It's quite shocking, but they'll be back.
Yeah, obviously, it's disappointing, but this is where Canada, and I guess this is kind of the pickle that they're in, right? Is you want that tough competition, but right now in this window, they're just not going to get it, right?
But nothing's an easy game, though. Even in the second half in Curacao today,
Fair
at
enough.
moments, going to Honduras, nothing's easy, right?
Listen to me sounding all cocky now.
Just take it.
Right?
That's okay. You've earned the right to
Well, when you're covering a team and they do win, you just get a little cocky a little bit here. So the men back on the pitch here tonight against Curacao. A nice 4-0 victory. The win, the clean sheet. They're feeling good in their final game on home soil before the World Cup. You've been watching the action here on OneSoccer. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again on Monday night.
There is something quite magical about heading into a new destination. A journey into the unknown. Not alone, but together, as a country, as a sport, ready to soar.